Hey, you. Yeah, you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast?
We're two busy moms and boss ladies. If we can do it, you can too. When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get our show into all the apps people like to listen to? How do we make money from a podcast?
The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join us in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor.
That's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast. You're listening to Boss Ladies and Babies.
Business Blab with Megan. It's time to take off our mom hats and let our entrepreneurial side show. So grab a notebook and give yourself a bossy timeout. Welcome back to Business Blab with me, Megan. Hello, boss ladies. Today we are going to talk about something so important and so big in our lives and our businesses, and that is boundaries. Boundaries are the most important thing that we can do for ourselves and our business to stay sane, to avoid overwhelm, and to take back the control of our time and our energy. And setting boundaries with ourselves, our families, our children, our friends, and our businesses are major boss lady goals. So today we're going to be focusing more on the business boundaries, but these really bleed over into life and other things as well. And we're going to be talking about what boundaries are, when to set them, and how I've incorporated boundaries into my business to find that unique balance and be the best boss lady that I can possibly be. So let's get started with what is a boundary. According to the dictionary, a boundary is a line that marks the limits of an area, a dividing line. It is a limit of a subject or sphere of activity. When it comes to setting boundaries in your life, it's the same thing. It marks your limits. It marks your hard stops, your non-negotiables, your needs to avoid overwhelm and to stay in control. And so why do we set boundaries? What is the big thing about this, right? We hear people talk about boundaries all the time, but what's the point? Why should we set these? And the answer, at least in my opinion, is that setting boundaries are going to be key to set yourself up for success because they help you clearly communicate expectations with yourself, with your colleagues or your clients, so that they will respect you and your time, and also so that you respect you and your time. Boundaries also help you really clearly communicate your business needs and rules to your family and friends so that they respect you and your business. And setting boundaries with yourself will ensure that you don't take on more than you can handle. It will ensure that you don't overwork yourself and really help you not end up hating your business and your life and everything in between. So really, in my opinion, setting boundaries are all about setting the expectation for respect with yourself, your family, and everybody that you interact with. And so as you're thinking about boundaries, deciding when to set a boundary is a question that comes up a lot. And this is a really personal decision. You may have to try things out before you get it right. You may have to, put a little boundary out there and see if it's the right one for you. But if you pay attention, you'll start to notice what you need and how exactly you need to address it and where you need to draw that line. And if you find yourself hating the job you once loved or feeling like you're living in total overwhelm all the time, maybe you can't seem to shut work off, it might be time to set some boundaries for your business. So I want you to pay attention to a few things as you're going about your day to see if maybe it's time to set some boundaries. So the first thing is, if you're finding things that don't make you happy or no longer serve you in your business, it might be time to set a boundary. If you don't have the time to commit to opportunities or activities or new projects that you're working on and you're trying to force them to happen, it might be time to set some boundaries in your business. If you are offered an opportunity or want to take something else on, that you'll have to sacrifice something else that's important to you in order to make that happen, it might be time to set some boundaries in your business. And if you're feeling like you're being totally taken advantage of or disrespected, it is definitely time to set some boundaries in your business. So the next big question is how? How do you set those boundaries? And you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds really good to me. Like this is really resonating with me, but how do I even do that? A lot of people realize that they need boundaries, but they have no idea where to start, so they just don't do it. And there are all sorts of boundaries that you can put in place for your business. But again, it's a really personal decision. And so today I thought I would just share some of my top boundaries to help inspire you and get you started. And these are just things that have really worked for me in my business and might be a good way for you to dip your toes in this world of boundaries and see if it could be helpful for you. So here we go. The first step is to decide your hard stops. Now, this is a really big boundary to set for yourself. When you'll start working, when will you shut down from work? Choose your working times. And then, of course, barring no major emergencies, stick to those times. And make sure that your family and your friends know your schedule as well. When you set aside work and time to work, you can be fully focused on that work so that you'll be able to set aside time for your family and for yourself and for all of those other priorities and be fully focused on those things. One of the boundaries I have for myself is not rolling over and picking up my phone first thing in the morning because I love working so much that I would instantly start working the minute I open my eyes. Same with at nighttime. I have to start winding down away from my phone so that I'm not in a position where I accidentally work, right? That's a boundary. That's a hard stop that I've set for myself, my working hours. And so sit down, be real with yourself, and choose the times that you will show up and be present for work. Set those hours and stick to them. The next one I like to do is to make sure that I don't let emails and notifications rule my life. Again, love working over here. So a great rule that I follow is to only check my email 3 times a day. I check it once in the morning after I've had my morning routine, done my little social media check, I'm having my coffee, and I'll check it to see what's going on. I check it once in the afternoon during that nap time hustle, and then once at the end of the day, not too late in the evening, just before I'm done working, to make sure that there's nothing urgent that came up that can't wait till the morning. And then the same goes for notifications too. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb and just get to work, get your tasks done so that you can focus without all that noise. And honestly, even if it's something huge and important and someone is trying to call you or send you a text or a DM or an email, it can most likely wait an hour or two for when you're in the mental space to actually be able to be available for that. Another boundary I've set for myself in my business is to put down my phone. Since we're talking about checking notifications, this reminds me of this huge boundary and the addiction that so many of us have with our phones and with screen time. Have you checked your screen time lately? On the phone, they have that nice little graph that shows you your daily screen time. Have you checked it lately? I'll be honest, mine was getting to a level of embarrassment. Like, I'm not even sure how that much time was spent on the screen and if it was even possible. Like, are there enough hours in the day for me to be spending that much on my phone? What the heck is happening? Embarrassing. So I started to put my phone in a different room. I started planning chunks of time during the day where my phone was nowhere near me. It was, like I said, in a different room, on another floor of the house, locked away in a closet, just completely out of reach so that I'm not even tempted to mindlessly scroll. When I'm trying to work in my business and my phone is right there next to me, it's so easy to take a break from the computer screen and hop on social and start scrolling, or check that email again, or respond to notifications, and then you totally lose track of what you're doing. So this one goes hand in hand with not letting emails and notifications rule your life, but it's a big one just in life in general. Just have some time to put down that phone. The next one is to learn to say no to opportunities. Okay, don't at me on this one, but not all opportunities are necessarily good opportunities for you. You can absolutely say no to an opportunity and it's not going to destroy your career. If you already feel like your plate's overflowing, taking on a new opportunity is not going to be beneficial for anyone, for you or the person who offered it to you or the person it's supposed to be helping. If it's something you've been waiting for, you might want to check back on some of your priorities and rearrange some things so that you can take it on. But otherwise, it's totally okay to politely decline and then put this opportunity on your to-do list so you can circle back when you have less on your plate and you can actually show up as your best self and really, really take this opportunity on at the best of your ability. Next one, really important, really hard to do. Respect your value. Knowing your value and being confident in your work and your pricing and everything you have to offer is and should be just a completely different episode, but I think it's important that we touch on setting boundaries around this. For example, I won't do any work for free. You guys might be thinking, well, what is this podcast? What is your social media? What are the blogs that you send out? And of course, I'm all about providing free, quote unquote, value to my community with my podcast and my blog and my social channels, but that's completely different. I'll give you an example. If my best friend came to me and asked me to teach her my 6-week course for free, I would say no. And if my sister came to me and asked me to give her a free one-on-one coaching session tomorrow, I honestly would say no. Not because I'm harsh and not because I don't want to help my friends and family, but it's because I know my value. And if I don't respect that, why should anyone else? And just so you know, my friends and family would never ask me to do that either because they also know my value. Do you know yours? Do your friends and family know yours? This goes for your pricing of your programs and your products and offerings and everything that you're putting out there in the world. Respect your value. The more that you do, the more everyone else will. The next boundary I've set for my business is to stop explaining myself. Just remember, no is a full sentence. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just don't want to, and it really doesn't matter the reason. If it's a no for you, it's a no for me, dog. Are people even still saying that? But you get the point. No means no. In life, in business, in every situation, you don't have to explain why. And the more you work on setting these boundaries and establishing that level of respect throughout your business and your life and with your friends and your family and your colleagues and your coworkers, the less you'll feel the need to have to explain. So there you have it. I can sit here and tell you all day about my boundaries, but I can't tell you what boundaries to set for yourself and your business. This is personal, like I talked about at the beginning of this episode. These are things that will only work for you because they are for you and what it is that you're doing and where you need to draw those lines. But I thought I would throw these out there so you could give them a try, see how you feel, see what works for you, see what doesn't, what's helping, what isn't. And once you commit to your boundaries and you actually follow through with your boundaries, they're going to change your business, and in turn, they'll also help change your life because, again, like I said, it all kind of bleeds together. Setting boundaries is a really, really strong skill, and it's really hard to do. So I want to hear from you. I want to know what boundaries you're setting in your business right now. Feel free to send me an email at megan@bossladiesandbabies.com and let me know. And until next time, stay bossy. Hey, boss lady, come here. I've got a few questions to ask you. Have you been struggling to find your unique balance in your life or business? Do you feel lost as a mom and or business owner and need some direction or clarity? Do you feel like you aren't truly connecting with your customers, not making sales, and can't figure out why? Do you struggle to show up on social media consistently and intentionally without feeling completely overwhelmed? If you answered yes to any of these questions, keep listening. The Brand You Strategy is my signature 6-week business balance and branding course that walks you through creating a solid and recognizable business and brand identity and has proven to help you gain a clear understanding of who you are and determine your unique message and dream customers so you can relax into your business and make more money. Who doesn't want that? The Brand You Strategy only launches 6 times per year and has a spot waiting with your name on it. For more info, check out bossladiesandbabies.com or contact me, your girl Megan, on Instagram at It's Megan Gillespie or via email at megan@bossladiesandbabies.com. Mention this ad and receive 25% off your spot. I can't wait to see what you do. Thank you for listening to Boss Ladies and Babies. If you like this episode, be sure to rate, review, and leave us some feedback.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and join the conversation in our Facebook group at Boss Ladies and Babies.
And until next time,
Stay bossy.
bossy.